Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 15th, 2025 meeting of the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners. If everyone would stand, please, I'll call on our Commission Chaplain, Romel McMurry, for our prayer and our pledge. He looks like he's got a special guest.
Thank you, Chairman Phillips. Before I lead the prayer, I would just quickly like to say that the month of May is Military Appreciation Month. Now, I know everyone is standing, but I was going to say for those who served in our military currently and previously, we want to say thank you for your service. And so if everyone could give them a round of applause, thank you for that. Now, I will say, so this young man right here, Mr. Briggs Henderson, he's a 5th grader at Salem Elementary. He is my pen pal. So for the 3rd year in a row, I've had a different student that I write to throughout the school year. So this year, he's the student vice president. And to be quite honest, I met him for the first time this morning, along with his dad, who's currently in the United States Air Force, so we thank you, sir, for that. So if we could, let us, please bow your heads. Dear gracious and kind God, we thank you. We stand here to surrender our lives to you. We know that your plans are better than ours. We thank you, and we know that your purpose for us is greater than we can imagine. We ask that you be in our decision-making not only tonight, but in the days, weeks, and years to come. We ask you, Lord, for forgiveness for the words if we've ever hurt anyone instead of providing hope. So allow us and allow our words to represent you as we build others up. Lord, we thank you for our military. This is the month that we honor and show gratitude to current and former members. We thank you for their service, their sacrifice, and dedication to our country. And dear Lord, we thank you for our law enforcement, particularly the police. For this week, we know it's National Police Week. We thank you for allowing them to put their lives on the line to save us 24/7. As I close, Lord, I ask that you allow us to make a difference and be a difference. Let us be the light in a dark generation. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
It is now time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Call on our County Clerk, Lisa Crowell, to call the roll. Lisa?
Commissioner Oliver?
Present.
Commissioner Piercy?
Here.
Commissioner Rather?
Here.
Commissioner P?
Here.
Commissioner Davison?
Here.
Commissioner Beverly?
Here.
Commissioner Cush? Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner James?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Here. Commissioner Irvin? Here. Commissioner Harris? Here. Commissioner Dodd? Here. Commissioner Chairman Phillips?
Here.
Commissioner McAdoo? Here. Commissioner McMurry?
Here.
Commissioner Gooch?
Here.
Commissioner Smyrna? We have a quorum, 20 present.
Thank you, Lisa. Item D, reading and approval of our April 17th meeting minutes. Call on our Chairman Pro-Tem, Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. I've reviewed the minutes and find them to be in order. Motion to dispense with the reading and approve them as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Thank you. Special getting to know this evening, and I'll introduce Commissioner McMurry for the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we're going to have a quick update on the Smyrna Airport Authority from Mr. Evan Lester. So come on up, Evan, if you'd like to. as Evan is coming, Evan is the new Executive Director of the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority. He's a graduate of Middle Tennessee State University's Aerospace program with a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master's degree in Aeronautical Science. Evan originally interned at the Smyrna Airport under the direction of Mr. John Black in 2017 before joining the Tennessee Department of Transportation's Aeronautics Division, where he worked for 7 years managing the planning, development, and environmental reviews for all 72 general aviation airports in the state of Tennessee, including the Smyrna Airport. Since 2017, Evan resides in the town of Smyrna with his wife and 2 children. So I visited Evan a few months ago and had the opportunity to take a tour of the grounds out there, and they're very impressive. So I thought it was fitting that he come tonight and give a little short update to the county commission and to those out here to let you know what's going on. Hopefully you may be able to see it on the screen. Okay, there it is behind me. So Evan, it's all yours. Let's see here. Is the IT team here with the clicker? Or if you just tell them next slide, they may change it for you. Sure. Yes, sir.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioners, for having me, and thank you, Commissioner McMurry, for having me. Again, my name is Evan Lester. I'm the new Executive Director here at the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority, and it's a pleasure to be here to give you a great update on all things ongoing at the Smyrna Airport. So next slide, please. Just a little bit about our airport. We are what's called an FAA Part 139 certificated airport. We're only one of 8 airports in the state of Tennessee that have a Part 139 certification. That includes airports like Nashville International, Memphis International. We're only one of 3 general aviation airports in the state to have a Part 139 certificate, which allows us to have unscheduled air carrier service at our airport. We also have 2 runways, one 8,038-foot long runway and one 5,500-foot long runway. Our airport encompasses 1,700 acres of property, making us the 3rd largest airport in the state of Tennessee. Last year, we sold over 2.5 million gallons of fuel on the airport, which was a record-breaking year for us. And another thing about our airport that makes us very unique is that 70% of the U.S. population can be reached within 600 miles of our airport. So with an airplane, that could be a matter of minutes or hours, which makes it very strategic for businesses to locate to the airport and also brings users to the airport. So if you go next slide. This is a diagram of 12 months of data. Several years ago, we put this together. As you can see from Smyrna Airport, you can pretty much reach anywhere in the country within a matter of hours or minutes because of our long 8,000-foot runway and also 5,500-foot runway. So we always say we can land up to a Boeing 747 aircraft on our airfield. The only states, for some reason, somebody didn't fly to was Nevada. I'm not sure why. Alaska and Hawaii. So those are the only states that in a 12-month period we did not have an aircraft operation to or from that airport. Next slide, please. So with that, with our strategic location, the number of businesses we have on the field, the growth in Rutherford County, the town of Smyrna, and around the Nashville area, we are the 4th busiest airport in the entire state of Tennessee, after Nashville, Memphis, and just a few thousand operations behind Knoxville, which all have scheduled air carrier traffic. And we are busier than Chattanooga and Tri-Cities actually combined. So we have a lot of traffic ongoing there. So we're very proud of that. And next slide, please. But not only do we care about operations, we care about business. So Smyrna Airport really means business. Next slide, please. And with that, since 1991, since the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority took over the Smyrna Airport in 1991, there's been over $245 million in improvements. And we also have over 51 businesses on the airfield, and we're 100% occupied. Next slide, please. I want to highlight some of those businesses on our airfield. That includes Contour Airlines headquarters and maintenance facility. We also have our 2 fixed-base operators that provide aircraft fuel and servicing, including Hollingshead Aviation and Azure Flight Support. We have Stevens Aerospace and Defense System that actually moved down from Nashville International, and they have one hangar now that's full of 40 aircraft and maintenance mechanics. They're actually in the process of building a second one. We also had a deal completed with Hillwood, which constructed 4 industrial warehouses on our airport business park. Some of the tenants in those buildings include NFI, Frankie, and Hunter Fan, just to name a few. So these businesses on the slide here proudly employ about 300 to 400 people within our own community. And there's many more businesses that I didn't name here, but we're very proud of that economic impact. Next slide, please. So T-Dot Aeronautics Division, sometimes it's hard to visualize what kind of economic impact an airport has on its community. So T-Dot Aeronautics Division did an economic impact study, next slide please, on the Smyrna Airport. And it found that several years ago, so this is a couple years of data a couple years ago, 1,500 jobs directly and indirectly are supported by the Smyrna Airport and its operations, over $92 million in payroll, and over $230 million in economic impact. And again, this is old data, several years old. We've had more businesses located on the airfield. We feel like this number is now around 250 to 300 million of economic impact on an annual basis to the state and the local economy. Next slide, please. So with that being said, we look to continue to grow to provide good economic impact to our community, to the county and the town. And one way we're doing that is our next development area, which is called our taxaway K3 development. This is a 40-acre site, and we have enough funding right now to at least develop 10 acres of this property. But we're trying to work right now with Tennessee Economic Community Development, along with TVA, to get additional funding to make this full 40-acre site ready for a large industrial or aviation business to locate on the airfield. Next slide, please. And speaking of growth, a lot of the times when we talk about growth, we always want to look at our past and remember why we're here as an airport. And I'm sure y'all know, but Smyrna Airport was originally Smyrna Army Airfield, also called Stewart Air Force Base, back in the day for the World War II purposes of training on the B-17 and B-24 aircraft. And so that's really what makes us excited, next slide please, for the future. And so I'll go next slide on that one as well. So the Tennessee Air and Army National Guard are currently in discussions with the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority to relocate both the Air and Army National Guard from the Nashville International Airport to Smyrna Airport. The reason is their lease expires with the Nashville International Airport in 2045. While that may sound like a long time from now, to relocate 1,100 guardsmen facilities and build those facilities and get the funding, it's going to take quite a bit of time. But we're very excited about this. We're going to sell a small piece of our airport property to the state of Tennessee for this relocation effort. There's a conceptual design right now on what it could look like on our airfield. Next slide, please. But not only are we excited to have them in our airport in terms of operations, we're excited about the economic impact they'll bring on Rutherford County and to the town of Smyrna. The economic impact right now, based on the study completed by the state and the National Guard, shows about a $1.93 billion economic impact to the local area, the county and the town. And also will bring about 1,100 guardsmen and women to the area to relocate to the town of Smyrna and Rutherford County from Nashville. So we're very excited about their relocation. Next slide, please. But while we also focus on economic development, we also focus on the good state of repair of our facility. And so we recently completed our runway 119 reconstruction project that took $13 million to complete, which was funded mostly by the state of Tennessee's T-Dot Aeronautics Division. And so that's a picture of opening day on April 11th. We reopened it after 13 months. It was kind of really cool. This was the first time this had been completed since this was constructed during Stewart Air Force Base days. So we were really cool to see all of the history underneath ground as we were reconstructing it. Next slide, please. So some other major projects we have upcoming for the airport include our runway 1432 reconstruction and rehabilitation project. This is our main artery of our airport at 8,038 feet. And so this is going to take 2 construction seasons to complete because of the cost of this runway, but it's kind of in the same condition as runway 119, where it hasn't been reconstructed since it was built. We're also looking at reconstructing and relocating our taxiway A, or Alpha. That's in the yellow box there. A little bit south for safety reasons and also because of age. And then I'm sure a lot of people have heard about air traffic control modernization. That's been a priority in the country right now. And so our air traffic control tower is 71 years old. And so we're looking to really work with our federal and state partners to be able to get some additional funding to replace our air traffic control tower in the near term. We've been selected by the FAA as one of 20 airports to receive money to design a new tower and site a new tower. And so we're now in the process of trying to secure construction dollars to modernize our air traffic control tower. Next slide, please. And so while we continue economic development, while we continue to maintain our facilities, we also want to be good community partners or good community asset. And so these are some pictures of our field trips that we've had over the recent months. We've had about 500 students come by the airport, middle and elementary school students, to be able to teach them about aviation and inspire the next generation of our aviators. Next slide, please. We also have what's called a Wings of Freedom Fish Fry and Classic Car Cruising. That's going to be held and sponsored and promoted by the Rotary International Club. And there's the website there if anybody would like to buy tickets to attend. But that's going to be Saturday, September 13th. And next slide, please. One of the cool things that we have coming to the airport is a Tuskegee Airman display and mobile trailer. And so this is very special for those who knew Miss Carolyn Peoples, who unfortunately passed away, a great community leader within our community. This was one of her biggest honors to have them here at our airport. And so they're going to be bringing this mobile trailer you see on the screen to be able to learn more about the history and the successes that the Tuskegee Airmen had during World War II. And it's a mobile trailer that has a film production facility in it, so people can come by for free and learn more about them and watch a video about the history of the Tuskegee Airmen. But also the aircraft you see on the screen will be at the Smyrna Airport on display at the Fish Fry. Next slide, please. But the cool thing about this event is that all the proceeds that are made go right back into the community. So whether it be the Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, Fisher House, and even that new park, the playground at the park you see there that's inspired by the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. Some of those funds from the Fish Fry help to build that as well. So we try to make sure that we give all the proceeds back to our community that has given us so much. Next slide, please. And last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels are coming back to Smyrna Airport on June 7th and 8th. And so they're going to be headlining our air show. We also have an F-35 demonstration team and also a DC-3 coming out of Shelbyville to perform at our air show. But one of the most important things, not only do we want to celebrate our military and thank our military for what they do, we also want to, again, inspire the next generation of aviation experts and also the children that attend there. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we're trying to achieve our mission. We try every day to achieve that, and that's to provide a world-class airport facility, make sure that our first-class front door to our community is very good and successful. We also want to promote our existing businesses while also trying to recruit new businesses and jobs to our county and our town. So with that, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Commissioner McMurry, for allowing me to be here, and Mr. Chairman as well. And I don't know, next slide, please. I don't know if there's any questions or anything like that I can answer, but I'm happy to do so.
Any questions? He asked for it.
Maybe I shouldn't have, no. All righty, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good. Next on our agenda is public comments. We've had one individual to sign up, Sean McGowan. His topic is the transfer station. While Mr. McGowan is coming up, if you'll notice to my left and to your right, it's not Nick Christensen. Nick is attending a kindergarten graduation. If any of you have ever been to that, it's a blast. Nick will probably be in a little bit later. And without objection, we forgot to put an agenda item under steering. And Will Denami, will make a presentation on our final legislative report for this season. So if you'll add that to your agenda. Mr. McGowan. Got 3 minutes.
Gotcha. Sean McGowan, Dallas Court in Murfreesboro. I just want to make a few comments regarding the last Public Works meeting and the presentations by both the mayor and Waste Management. I was glad to hear about the short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan for how the county will deal with our solid waste going forward. The plan allows for the county to gain both independence and control over the solid waste, an independence that's been lacking for the past 30 years. I've heard many commissioners speak about how we've never been in control of our solid waste, and this plan allows us to do that. We would also be partnering with a company that has been the leader of recycling in Middle Tennessee for many years and will be actively working with the county to increase the diversion rate. WM already has a plan in place to utilize one bay of the transfer station for the bundling of recycling and further plans for separating organic waste for composting. They also have a construction and demolition recycling center in Nashville that we can utilize in the future. To me, the highlight of both presentations was the focus on increasing the diversion rate within the county and to find new solutions and technologies to better handle our solid waste. Waste Management has offered bins for the cities to use for curbside recycling, so the next focus needs to be on implementing curbside recycling in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne. We cannot continue to just bury our trash. We need to be good stewards of the earth and to remember the command in Genesis 2:15 to take care of and to cultivate the earth. I've been at many public works meetings and was at the meeting when one plan was presented that called for 50 more years of dumping solid waste at the base of our water supply, a plan that would actually increase the percentage of out-of-county waste buried to 85%, a plan that would not give the county any control over what gets buried and where it comes from, a plan that would not increase the diversion rate to the county by one single aluminum can. Then I heard about the mayor's plan, a plan that would not bury any trash along our water supply, a plan that would only accept Rutherford County generated waste, a plan to increase our diversion rate, a plan that is looking to explore new technologies, a plan that gives us control and independence over our solid waste. I know which plan I would prefer, and I know which plan presents a much better future for the residents of Rutherford County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. Next, elections and confirmations. Call on our steering vice chair, Commissioner Pettus-Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First is electing of notaries. Listing of notaries may be found on your iPads, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, I move to confirm the election of these individuals as Rutherford County notaries.
I have a motion and a second to confirm the election of our notaries. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
Item 2, steering would like to confirm Amber Brown for Planning Commission vacancy to fill a retiring member's term. The term ends August 2025. This is a mayor's appointment. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to confirm Amber Brown for the Planning Commission. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Ms. Brown, are you here?
Back here.
Stand up. Amber's been a member of our Insurance or Risk Management Committee for a long time, and also she serves on the Board of Zoning Appeals as well. Extremely well qualified. Welcome aboard, Amber. Thank you.
Item 3, steering would like to also confirm Brian Gaither for the Rutherford County Emergency Communications District, the E911 Board of Directors, as a county representative. This is a 4-year term. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second to confirm Brian Gaither to the Emergency Communication District. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
Item 4, steering wishes to confirm Jessica Schoenfield as a Judicial Commissioner. This is a 4-year term. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. Motion and a second to confirm Jessica Schofield to Judicial Commissioner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
Item 5, steering also would like to confirm Dr. Lorraine McDonald as Medical Examiner. This is a 5-year term. The current term ends June 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. Motion and a second to confirm Lorraine McDonald as the Medical Examiner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
Item 6, we also wish to announce 2 vacancies on the CCRC Board of Directors. These are 3-year terms. The current term ends July 2025. Item 7, I would like to announce 2 vacancies on the Lineborough Library Board. These are 3-year terms. The current terms end June 2025. Item 8, steering would like to announce 3 vacancies on the Juvenile Detention Board of Commissioners. These are 2-year terms, and the current terms end August 2025. And we wish to announce 1 vacancy on the Juvenile Detention Board of Commissioners, which is a 1-year term, and the current term ends August 2025. Mr. Chairman, this concludes the elections and confirmations.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Item H, resolution to approve our consent agenda. Call on our Chairman Pro-Tem, Trey Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and colleagues. The consent agenda is quite lengthy, but everything is appropriate. There's no opposition to it. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Questions or comments? For this will be on the board. If you would, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes, 1 no.
Motion to approve the consent agenda passes. No unfinished business. We're 5 minutes early, but we're going to take that 5 minutes and we'll get into our public hearings. So I'll call on our Planning Director, Doug Demosi. Mr. Demosi.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Forgive me for taking a minute to get up here. I had a momentary freak out moment. I'd hit something on here and it wasn't doing what I thought it was supposed to do. Thankfully, I got it to work. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. Good evening, everyone. We have 2 rezoning applications for your consideration tonight. The first is by Mr. Brian Bird. This is for property located at 7277 Lebanon Pike. The existing zoning is residential medium density. The proposed zoning is institutional. And forgive me just a second. I guess I need to be a little more prepared than I am tonight. I apologize.
Quit mumbling, Doug.
Sorry. Yes, sir. Yeah, my timer's not going quite yet. Staff met with representatives from Walter Hill Church of Christ back in March of this year. The bottom line for this application essentially is what's going on here tonight is they want to make an expansion to their existing worship center and also add a fellowship hall. Their worship seat count will go from about 400 to about 550 occupants. To achieve the additional 150 seats, they do some, like I said, some reconfiguring their existing worship space. The issue they're running into is community assembly uses. We classify those in 3 levels, small, medium, and large. The changing from 400 to over 500 changes it from a medium community assembly, which is allowed in existing RM areas by a special exception. Of course, they have been in existence for quite some time. But it goes to over 500, that's a large community assembly, which does require a institutional zone. So we were informed them of that at the meeting when we had their pre-application meeting. They have since made that application that is before you today. There is a concept plan that is included with your agenda packets that gives you an idea of how they are proposing to expand. County regulations do require 1 parking space for every 5 seats in the main assembly room. With an occupancy of 550 seats, this would be about 110 parking spaces. Their concept plan shows the 170 already existing. This does meet county requirements. An engineered site plan, of course, will be required prior to any approval of their expansion. Landscaping performance standards will also have to meet our county standards as well. Again, this is an existing facility. It's really just going from a medium to a large classification. The Planning Commission did have some questions for the applicant regarding the application. The applicant stated that they are making interior modifications along with adding the fellowship hall that does increase the occupancy of the building. There were some further questions about the amount of parking that's required. Staff did answer again that the parking was already met as far as county regulations are required. Following the public hearing, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the application by a unanimous vote, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll call the public hearing open for item REZ 25-006, a rezoning request for Brian Bird. Location is 7277 Lebanon Pike. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Piercy.
Thank you, Chairman Phillips. I haven't had any resistance to this, which I didn't expect to have any, and I'll be more than glad to make the motion to approve what they're asking to do with staff comments. Thank you.
Have a motion and a second to approve item REZ 25-006. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion to approve carries. Mr. Demosi.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second item that we have for consideration tonight is by Whitfield Hamilton. This is located at 8808 Manchester Pike. The existing zoning is residential medium density. Proposed zoning is planned unit development for a manufacturing facility. The size of the site is approximately 170 acres. I will call your attention to your iPads. There is a pattern book on here that's going to go into a lot more detail as far as their proposal than what I'm going to be going into tonight, but I'll refer to several pages in there, so just be aware. According to page 5, and you'll notice on your staff report that the page numbers in the document don't necessarily reflect what page of the PDF they are, so you'll see, I'm going to use just the page 5, that'd be the number in the lower right corner that you'll see, but the PDF page may be a little different. You see I kind of do that in the staff report as well. I'm going to read this brief portion from the applicant's pattern book. The proposed tenant intends to rezone the property from RM to PUD with the use being primarily light industrial in nature. The standards for this development were modeled after those required for a light industrial district, but has restricted many of the uses to limit the number of potentially adverse uses. The PUD is for an approximately 240,000 square foot light assembly and manufacturing facility with a small accessory assembly building. It will include parking for the current number of employees, as well as enough for the near-term growth anticipated by the tenant. Again, that comes right out of the pattern book. You'll see that on page 5, there is a phase 1 concept plan. They are showing expansions further in the document on page 11. However, the pattern book is very clear and states that approval of any expansions beyond what they're showing in phase 1 would require a PUD amendment. So, long story short, if this application were to be approved, what you're looking at is only for phase 1. Again, I would note one other thing on that you'll notice that there is a proposed grading for a possible expansion building pad for an eventual phase 2 building happening in phase 1, but they're not planning on any construction. So while they're out there doing the site work, again, should this be approved, they would do the site work for the main part of the building and a possible future expansion, but no building construction beyond what they're showing for phase 1. Architectural elevations are shown on page 6, allowable uses described on page 8. I will describe that just a little bit more detail. There was some discussion during the Planning Commission regarding some of the proposed uses, and after discussion of that, there were 5 uses that were pulled out of the pattern book, so you won't see them on what you have, but I will go over those uses briefly. The uses that were removed included truck and motor freight terminal service facility, and under industrial category, there were 4: automotive manufacturer, automotive parts, automotive components manufacturer, and automotive seats manufacturer. So those items have been removed from the pattern book. Just wanted to make sure that the Commission was aware of that. So this list has been better defined. The applicant has held 2 neighborhood meetings for this application. Summaries of those meetings are included on your iPads with our agenda report. Pages 9 and 10 of the pattern book do show proposed improvements to the intersection of Epps Mill Road and Manchester Pike. This does include access into the subject property. You'll see that they're proposing temporary access into the subject property along the existing alignment of Epps Mill Road intersection, complete with a traffic signal. When the improvements to Epps Mill Road and Exit 89 interchange are completed, and as of right now, TDOT has that scheduled on their 10-year plan for 2026 for beginning construction on that. When they do that, they're going to move that existing intersection so it tees in better with Manchester Pike, be a better 90-degree intersection. It'll kind of shift to the south-southeast a little bit. At that time, new traffic signals will be installed as part of the overall improvement projects with TDOT. Traffic study was completed for this and also reviewed by our third-party traffic consultant. You can see the findings were consistent with what we figured they would, especially considering the improvements that are coming as part of TDOT's improvements. Non-residential planned developments do not require open space set-asides. However, as you see in the pattern book on page 5 and some other pages as well, they are showing quite a bit of separation from the proposed buildings, especially phase 1 building, to the closest closest properties on Cobb Road. They're also showing Phase 2 expansions, not quite as far, of course, but still over 150 feet. They are also showing a proposed Type 3 buffer along those properties up front along Cobb Road with a maximum height of 20-foot berm, just depending on where it is. It'd have to kind of vary in height just a little bit for consistency. Of course, engineered site plan would have to be submitted for Planning Commission consideration that would take into account the landscaping that's being required as part of the pattern book, the access to the property, site design, and all that. And also our performance standards would also be a part of any approval, should this be approved. The Planning Commission did ask questions of staff and the applicant on this application prior to the public hearing. There were also, as you might imagine, several people who spoke during the public hearing. Somewhere between the range of 20 to 25 people did speak. There were primarily against, but there were several that spoke for the application as well. Their concerns did range from increased traffic, appropriateness of the zoning, development for the area, drainage, and environmental concerns. Following the public hearing and further discussion by staff, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this application by a vote of 9-4 and 1 against. I will say also that any discussion that we may have tonight on any additional items, the pattern book is going to be the governing document for this particular zoning request should this application be approved. So if there's additional items that need to be considered as far as maybe additional buffering, whatever discussion may be happening tonight, we'll want to make sure those also get included into the pattern book. Really it's just a matter of working with the applicant's design team to make sure that gets in there. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands what they are proposing in a pattern book is what they are going to be limited to, especially when it comes to construction in that first phase. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff at this time? Thank you, Doug. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open for item REZ 25-008, a rezoning request for Whitfield Hamilton. The location is 8808 Manchester Pike. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward. Remind everyone that you have 3 minutes. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Anthony Caudle, 7515 Delbridge Road, Murfreesboro. Good evening, esteemed members of the board and fellow residents. My name is Anthony Caudle. I reside at 7515 Delbridge Road in Murfreesboro. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today regarding the proposed Barrett Firearms expansion and rezoning at the intersection of Highway 41 and Epps Mill. I appreciate everyone that has taken the time to attend and participate in this important community discussion. As a resident of this community for over 25 years, including 20 years at my current address, I have a deep and long-standing connection to this area. My commitment extends beyond residency. I've served the public in the United States Army as a paratrooper and later as a state trooper, dedicated to ensuring the safety and well-being of the citizens of Rutherford County. Through my military service, I gained firsthand familiarity with the quality and the operational reliability of firearms manufactured by Barrett. I've also had the privilege of meeting Ronnie Barrett on several occasions and hold great respect for the company he built, a company that has been part of this community fabric for decades. While the company's ownership structure has evolved, its legacy and desire to remain a vital part of our community, are unwavering. Barrett seeks to expand within our community, asking us to embrace their continued presence and welcome their employees to this side, the east side of I-24. One crucial factor for the board and my neighbors to consider is the current zoning of this property for residential use. We're all aware of the significant growth Rutherford County is experiencing, particularly large-scale residential developments. The alternative to a well-planned industrial facility on this site is potentially another massive housing development similar in scale to Buchanan Estates. I believe that allowing another such development on this specific parcel would place considerable strain on our local infrastructure, roads, schools, and public services, potentially leading to increased taxes for existing residents without the corresponding benefit of commercial tax base. Barrett's proposed manufacturing facility offers a distinct and, in my view, preferable alternative. It brings valuable commercial tax revenue to our county, contributes to a diversified economic base, and provides stable, skilled jobs Barrett's known for being a responsible employer, notably hiring many veterans, individuals who've already served our nation and deserve the opportunity to build their futures right here in Murfreesboro. Supporting this expansion means supporting those families and those veterans. While concerns regarding traffic impact are understandable, the traffic profile of a manufacturing facility with its concentrated peaks during shift changes is often more predictable and manageable than the continuous traffic flow generated by hundreds of new homes. Also, please consider the fact that many of the current employees working at Barrett already pass through this intersection daily. In conclusion, supporting Barrett Firearms expansion and rezoning is an opportunity to retain a respected, long-standing local company, support American manufacturing, create local jobs, including our veterans, and secure a beneficial commercial tax base for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Philip Haynes of Christiana, 7354 Christiana Hoover's Gap Road. However, we're presently building a new home on 7715 Hughes Road, which the property backs up across the creek to this property. This is a family property we've had for almost 60 years, pretty much my lifespan, and it's a great place, great community to move back into. I think that the Barrett Arms facility has done a good job in planning this and this proposal. Everything seems to be put together well. I'm excited to know that there's a traffic light that could get sped up at that intersection of Epps Mill and Manchester Highway, because many times the traffic backs up a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing that change to improve our department out there. I also see the increase of having more employees in the area may bring some growth as far as restaurants, other types of things, hoping that could be coming into that area. But as a Rutherford County resident all my life, it's exciting to see growth in different areas and controlled growth in some, and I would much rather see this going in this area than a lot of homes that would go into the particular area. One being that the property fence that we have is on the opposite side of the creek, which meets this area. And if homes were in that area, we'd probably have to barricade and do something different to keep kids and families out of the creek. So this looks like a much more preferred change to the community for us, and I would like to see it approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please come forward.
Jake Jacobs, 8114 Jacobs Road. We boarded this property all along these 4,400 foot. That's a fourth generation farm. There is no way we'd have a better neighbor than them. You can either have them as a really good neighbor and only have one neighbor, or 1,500 other neighbors. So there's not a doubt in my mind. They're willing to go the extra step to do all this stuff to help us and improve the community that they're in. I just can't imagine not having them out there. I'd really appreciate them being there.
Thank you.
My name is Shirley Hayes. I reside at 112 Blue Ribbon Trail in Christiana. I will be living approximately 1.5 miles from where this is to be built. I know my time is limited, so let me be as brief as I can. There are many things that I have heard that are certainly character benefits to Ronnie Barrett, but this never was about Ronnie Barrett's character. This is about a business, a large development that includes a large factory at a time that we do not have the infrastructure. We have never opposed this. We oppose the location of this. And Jim Thompson brought this up very well at the last zoning meeting, stating that why can't we wait until we have the infrastructure in place before they decide to do anything? That way we avoid all of the congested traffic that we have, and we get a better feel for how this is going to progress. Again, there are many places that this could be located that would still bring jobs to the community. It would still bring the economic progress that we would like to have as Rutherford County and as a state, but not at this location. It is going to create security hazards, pollution that have been brought up in the previous meeting. Even though they are willing to work with us in some of those, it will not change the fact that until this is completed, we will be dealing with an amazing discord with our traffic situation that will affect not only the security with the EMTs that are located down the road, and anytime they have to go to a fire or a personal medical emergency, it's still 2-lane. Now, what they intend to extend is just to allow from the Epps Mill Road to widen it in front of their property, if I understand this correctly, as I've heard. So it's not going to benefit further up either side of the road. And you've also got the problems with school children. They're still busing out there. There's 500 homes at Buchanan Estates that's across one bridge going away from, and at the mouth of Epps Mill, they're at Highway 41. Then you have another situation because you still have buses coming to and from. I would ask that you would consider what Jim Thompson said. If you intend to approve this and you will not listen to the opposition of the people and how it is going to impact them in so many ways, then please have them wait until the infrastructure is done before they break ground so we can at least adapt to it. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
My name's John Harney. Our family lives at 6748 West Gum Road. Some of our families live there now since the early 1950s. And as the crow flies, we're about 1.5 miles from where Barrett is proposing the new expansion. I've known the Barrett family all my life, have known this company for a long time, and our company has developed several subdivisions over the years up and down Manchester Highway. Our company developed Joby Jackson Industrial Park, and we looked at the Horley property more than once about a residential subdivision, and you could probably put about 250 homes there. I've heard a lot of people talk about that Barrett would create traffic issues. If the Horley property was developed single family, at 9 trips per day, which is what usually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house generates, that's about 2,300 trips a day. Barrett's proposing about 400 jobs on 2 shifts. So if you look at that, that's greatly diminished in what it could be if it was developed as a subdivision. I was down at the state here a while back, a few months ago, with Commissioner Ely and ECD Commissioner McWhorter's office on another company we were trying to attract to Murfreesboro, and Epps Mill got brought up, and the state is very excited about Barrett expanding, and they made the comment that we all know the Epps Mill interchange has been needing expanding for years. They made the comment with Barrett coming and expanding, that helps put the emphasis on going ahead and getting the interchange expanded like it should be. We spent a lot of time at Joby Jackson trying to attract new companies, job generators, that sort of thing. I think we have sometimes in this county not done a good job of hanging on to and grooming and asking companies that are homegrown to expand. We've got a lot of good jobs at Joby Jackson. The Barrett jobs are actually better than 90% of the jobs that are at Joby Jackson. So as a resident there for a lot of years,
I think this is a great addition. The state actually offered Barrett a site in Manchester, free, if they would shift down there, and I think it's to the benefit of this county that we're keeping them here, having them expand, and they have been a good neighbor and a good company for years, and I think it's to our benefit to keep them here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Beverly.
Mr. Chair, may I take the well? May I take the well?
You may.
I want to say this project has been in the works for a few months. It's been the result of numerous community meetings, 2 held by the developer, 1 held by me just last week, countless phone calls, emails, one-on-one meetings with constituents at restaurants and all over. But this plan that you see before you was not the plan that initially was presented. This plan presented before you is one of community feedback. The berm, increased turn lanes are a result of community feedback. This is economic insulation for our county with the unique industry that's going to bring high-paying jobs to our district. It's a hometown company that's staying hometown, and they've shown a desire to be a neighbor. So I want to share that with you all, you guys, and I make a motion to approve this because I think it's the right direction for our district.
Have a motion to approve?
Second.
And a second. Questions or comments? If you don't mind, I'll request that we be on the board for this. So if you would, commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Demosi.
Yeah, just a brief announcement before I head out for the night. I just wanted to give you a quick update on Plan Rutherford. We are having our first public hearing before the Planning Commission on Plan Rutherford. That'll be on June the 23rd. That's a Monday night. And that'll be at 6 o'clock in this room. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Demosi. Item K, reports from our standing committees. Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee, Chairman Robert P.
First, I want to welcome Nick and say congratulations on your graduate. Yeah. Item K1A, and this is actually money for the Office of Information Technology to purchase a new server. And the server that we have has basically gone down, and we're using a backup. So that's what this request is all about. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the general fund be amended as follows: for the Office of Information Technology, a decrease in unassigned fund balance of $230,800, a decrease expenditures for part-time personnel, $20,000, license, $125,800, maintenance agreements, $3,400, travel, $17,000, data processing supplies, $8,000, other capital outlays, $16,000, for increased expenditures for data processing equipment of $421,000. Resolved this 15th day of May, 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve item K1A. Questions or comments? Once again, for this will be on the board. Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes.
Item K1B, a resolution. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Drug Control Fund be amended as follows: for drug enforcement, a decrease in restricted fund balance of $200,000 and increased expenditures for building improvements for $200,000. Resolved this 15th day of May 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
A motion and a second to approve item K1B. Questions or comments?
Question.
Commissioner Oliver.
What building improvements?
They have multiple storage buildings that they use for evidence and materials. For instance, if they're swapping over from one car to another, a lot of the equipment there has to be put in storage, and they've got multiple storage small buildings, and several of them are deteriorating. This building would basically let them put this together in a secure place that's temperature controlled.
Other questions? Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner P.
Item K1C, a resolution. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the General Purpose School Fund be amended according to the schedule attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference if set forth herein at length verbatim. Resolved this 15th day of May 2025. The amount for that is on the attached pages and should be on your tablets. $6,654,414, and this is for science textbooks. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Motion and a second to approve item K1C. Questions or comments? Please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes.
Motion passes.
Item K1D, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $112 million in aggregate principal amounts of general obligation school bonds of Rutherford County, Tennessee, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal or premium, if any, and interest on these bonds. And this is for the Laverne addition and the new middle school. Resolved this 15th day of May 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Motion and a second to approve item K1D. Questions? Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
19 yes.
Motion passes.
K1E, whereas the Board of Commissioners desire to create a conference payment policy regarding attendance for conferences and other training, and whereas the policy attached hereto is as in Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim has been created. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the policy attached hereto be and is authorized. Resolved this 15th day of May 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Motion and a second to approve item K1E. Questions or comments?
Question.
Commissioner Oliver.
I think Commissioner Reed made a great statement when he talked about our participation in local trainings and local things here, not just in our county, but within our state. Is it possible that there can be an amendment or something saying that they need to have attended XYZ in order to move forward with this, as opposed to just paying for trips out of state? Just something to consider, because I thought that was a valid point that he made.
It's not only a valid point, but it's a good point, and we're really plowing new ground here. We haven't had a policy, and we really haven't had a lot of requests to do this type of thing. We had that discussion, and the discussion was, let's see what happens next year, and we can adjust it accordingly. There'll be a budget that will probably be recommended during this budget cycle, and if we exceed that budget, then we'll probably need to adjust our policy. So that was actually talked about, and I believe Nick has a mic.
So this payment policy is not just for out of state or out of county. This would govern any trip or conference that a commissioner wanted reimbursement for, right? So this policy would govern if you wanted to go to across town or if you wanted to go to California. And so there was never a policy for the commission here. The school board has their own policy. They essentially follow state travel policy. This one very closely mirrors the state travel policy. So this would just dictate if you wanted to go to somewhere across town that you wouldn't get per diem, right? You would come, follow the procedures, and potentially get reimbursed for the conference payment to go. You could potentially get mileage if it was applicable, and so. But it would also govern if you went all the way to California or somewhere far. But I believe this has it in there where it would come through steering, and then it would ultimately, whatever conference or trip would be approved by this body, so that once it came here, you could ask that question to that commissioner and say, hey, why are you going to California first before you go to a conference here? And you could vote no at that point or vote yes. And so this policy is to govern all of that, not just out of state. I don't know if that helps you at all.
Thank you for the clarification. It does.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Oliver. And once again, this is kind of plowing new ground for us, and we have always been encouraging commissioners to attend in-state conferences that pertain to us, local governments. So once again, we'll see how it goes this year. And if we meet or exceed that budget, we'll probably have to make some adjustments in the future. Thanks for that question. Other questions? Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
20 yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner Oliver, I could follow up. The part of the process would be the reason for attending, what you hope to accomplish, and what you can bring back to the commission. So that's part of this process, and once again, we'll see how it goes. Thank you. Commissioner P.
Item K1F, resolution. Whereas the solid waste transfer station that was previously approved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners is set to open soon. Whereas the tipping fee, a copy of the same being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, to be paid by the transfer station users have been approved by the Public Works and Planning and the Budget, Finance, and Investment Standing Committees. Whereas the Public Works and Planning Standing Committee also approved a motion that any future changes to the tipping fees must be approved through the Standing Committee process, beginning with Public Works and Planning Standing Committees, being forwarded to the Budget, Finance, and Investment Standing Committee, and finally approved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the solid waste transfer station tipping fees be and are hereby approved, a copy of the same being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, and that the future changes to the tipping fees shall be approved in accordance with the aforementioned process. Resolved this 15th day of May, 2025. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve item K1F. Questions? Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has been discussed for a long time. What we're doing here is establishing a starting point. It's going to be a moving target. This won't be a forever price, not likely. It could move up or it could move down. It just depends on how the transfer station works out. There again, as the chairman says, we're plowing new ground on this too. Nobody really knows how it'll work out, but we believe that this is the best thing for this county and to move forward with it and set these rates as presented. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Other questions or comments? Commissioners, please cast your vote.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the vote.
18 yes, 1 no, 1 abstained.
Motion passes. Commissioner P., before we go on, Mayor Carr is in the audience. Any comments or follow-up on the tipping fees that you'd like to make, Mayor Carr?
Not after the vote, no, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner P.
That concluded our business for the evening. However, I want to announce our next...
I'm sorry. Hold on a second, if you would. Commissioner Johnson. So recorded. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. My apologies.
As I was saying, that concludes Budget's agenda for the evening. I want to mention that our next scheduled meeting is Thursday, June the 5th, our next scheduled regular meeting. Our next scheduled meeting is next Monday, May the 19th at 5:30. The one behind it will be Wednesday, May 21st. Any of you commissioners that are interested, please come to the budget meetings. For instance, one of the questions that we have is on what we just passed as far as going to conferences. There is no money set aside for that. That's something budget will have to determine whether we're going to do that or we would bring it on a case-by-case basis. But things like that are some of the stuff that we'll be looking at. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman P. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Pettus-Reed.
Mr. Chairman, Public Safety has no report, but our next meeting is somewhat a change in schedule. It will be next week on Tuesday night at 5:30 here in this room.
Thank you, Chairman. Health and Education Committee, Chairman Phil Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. Our next meeting is Tuesday, May the 27th, 5:30 p.m. in these chambers, and I will announce again, this is the official joint meeting. The Board of Education will be here present with us. We will have our meeting with Budget present as well. Budget can ask questions but not vote. When we adjourn Health and Ed, we will have deliberated and voted on the budget. At that time, Budget will gavel in. We likewise can stay and be present and ask questions, but only Budget will vote. So it's a very proficient way for both committees to look at a really substantial budget at one time. So please, if you can't be present, do try to listen on Rutherford County TV.
Thank you. Property Management Committee, Chairman Alan McAdoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next meeting will be May the 28th at 5:30. It's on a Wednesday. We had to change to make budget, let them meet on the 29th, I believe. We got a tour at 3:30 at the Goldstein Building, and everyone is invited.
Thank you, Chairman. Public Works and Planning, Chairman Anthony Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman Phillips. Tonight, for Public Works, we have a discussion on possible Laverne convenience site. Laverne had previously asked us to vacate our Sand Hill property where we have our convenience center in Laverne because they have a need for this property. And it's not like we're being kicked off, but we need to find a place, and a lot better place. So we've located a site and an asking price in Laverne. And no, I won't tell you the price because it'll triple in price. But Public Works approved for the mayor, we're working with the county attorney, to negotiate a price contingent upon the site testing and all due diligence being done to decide if we can use this property. So it's not like we're just going to say, okay, we're going to buy this property, and then it turns out we can't because sinkholes or whatever. So they'll have stock gaps in there. I think I've got this right. We approved this in Public Works. This will go to well, can't read my own writing. It's already been through Public Works. Tonight we need to approve this, but after it's approved here, it will go, it's already been to Public Works. It will go to, if I'm not wrong, it will go to purchasing. Okay, it'll go to purchasing, back to Public Works, then to budget, and to the county commission. Did I get that right? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, so I move to approve this approval for the mayor to just do his job.
Have a motion and a second to allow the mayor to negotiate for a piece of property in Laverne for a new convenience center. Questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver.
Are we going to get more information? I mean, as far as like where it's located or anything like that?
Well, as I said, I'm not going to give you the price. I'm not going to give you
I didn't ask for the price. I'm just
well,
like
as
curious.
I said, I'm not going to give the price, but I'm not going to give the location either, because then somebody's going to go over there and offer a higher price and jack the price up and just get into a bidding war. We don't need that. That's what happens with all of our school properties usually. So I'm not divulging information like that.
Commissioner Johnson.
Information will come back to this committee or commission.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that. So, from a negotiating standpoint, we want to be able to play our cards right, and so the mayor, with the assistance of the county attorney, would negotiate with a potential seller. And once the terms are tentatively put together, before there's any approval or a purchase actually made or funds devoted to it, then it will come back and there'll be more information on the specific details of the terms of the deal for final approval by this body, in addition to the other committees that Mr. Johnson named.
So it's preliminary just to ask the question, basically?
Correct.
Great. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions? Again, we have a motion and a second. Is that correct? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion to approve carries.
Our next Public Works meeting will be June the 3rd, 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee, Chairman Craig Harris.
Commissioners, as you are well aware, Rutherford County is a subdivision of the state. So many of our policies and changes to our Private Act has to have legislative approval from the state reps and the state senate. So there's a lot of issues that we have faced, and we have, as a collective body, agreed to a lobbyist. So that lobbyist is Will Demosi. And we've had I feel a good year for Rutherford County in this year's legislation so far. And I asked Will to come up here and to explain to y'all some of the things and some of the bills that were passed or delayed that affect Rutherford County. Will?
Thank you, Chairman Harris. Mr. Demosi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Phillips. Thank you, Chairman Harris. Thank you, members of the commission. Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here today. Since your last meeting in April, the General Assembly has adjourned, and just like Chairman Harris alluded to, we've had a number of very important projects that we were working on. We've gotten, of those projects, 4 of them, we've got 2 of them over the finish line. 2 of them need some more work. I'll start with the mineral severance tax. Thank you, Chairman Harris, for getting the ball rolling on that. I want to thank Chairman Baum, Chairman Reeves for spearheading that through the General Assembly. That is taking effect. I think Attorney Nick has got working on the resolution and so forth. So that one is over the finish line. That was multiple years of effort that had gone through to no avail through the General Assembly. And Chairman Harris spearheaded that, and now we've gotten it through. Sports wagering, this is another one that got over the goal line. This was multiple years in the works, and sports wagering and lottery access are somewhat connected, and I'm going to kind of explain what happened here. So the sports wagering is through. I think Dr. Sullivan knows that. This is at $25 a head for 52,000 students, so this will be around $1.3 million recurring for K through 12 facilities. As the discussion was ongoing about the sports wagering, the dollars, there was also discussion about the lottery. And so what we've been talking about with the lottery excess funds, which we think are really probably about the same, maybe sports wagering over time will be significantly larger as it continues to mature. But the lottery revenues lost about $70 million in fiscal year 24. So there is a concern of what that means for the lottery. If you're not aware, the lottery has now gone online, so they've gone into mobile apps, and they think that there's going to be new revenues that are going to generate from that. So I suspect where we realistically are in terms of excess lottery funds, part of the Constitution requires us to go back to K through 12. I think where we are is we're probably 2 years away. I think we're going to see what the online piece does for the lottery, and does those revenues start to stabilize, and I think that'll be at 2 years probably. The real estate transfer, we made a lot of progress this year. There were multiple bills filed. We had multiple sponsors on those bills, a lot of strong support throughout the House and the Senate. As we discussed over and over again through the steering committee throughout the session, the issue was always going to come down to funding. And one of the things that we learned at the end is that the size of this, we put in a 3-year phase in, so it had been 0 the first year, 25% the second year, the full 50% the third year. But what we learned or heard back from leadership is they would like for something of this magnitude, around $145 to $150 million, to generate from the governor's budget. So we're hopeful to see that implemented next year as part of the governor's budget. So that's somewhere between 8 to 10 million is what will come back for Rutherford County each year. So that's where we are, Mr. Chairman. I'll answer any questions, and thank you.
Any questions for Will?
I do have a question.
Commissioner Oliver.
When you spoke about the lottery funds being down and the, I guess, plight of the lottery, do you think that the voucher has impacted that in any way? The vouchers?
Vouchers impacted lottery sales?
Just curious, is there any kind of impact possibly there?
I haven't heard anybody mention that. What seems to be generally the consensus on the lottery is it's there's always a question about out-of-state travelers who come to Tennessee to purchase lottery tickets. That's one component. The other component is people who have switched from playing the lottery, playing to sports wagering, and so there's only so many dollars available. That seems to be the consensus. Now, again, the lottery is a limited scratch-off and all those kinds of things. So there's a theory that with the new online lottery program that people can play, that it'll generate sales.
Chairman Harris.
Will, can you tell the commission a little bit about the real estate transfer fee and give us an idea of what's going to happen as far? I know this I got through, however, it's got a funding mechanism that's not going to be approved. So can you talk to the commission a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the real estate transfer tax is 37 cents per hundred. So there is no attempt to change that. So that amount would stay flat. This is something that early on, we were talking about growth, and we were talking about, we were looking at where we ended up with the school facilities tax. We talked to the realtors and we talked to the home builders, and they both indicated support for taking a portion of the real estate transfer tax that's already in place and that's undesignated, which would be half. So half of the money that's already being paid today, once we could get it implemented, half of it would remain in the county where it's paid. And what would that mean for the taxpayer? It doesn't mean any new taxes, but it means half of the money they're paying in this tax be dedicated to a project in their community that they would benefit from. So it's very taxpayer friendly. It helps, it helps make sure that the money, half of it still goes to Nashville to, all the different buckets that are already allocated, wetlands funds, you name it, all those different things would be unaffected. The rate would be unaffected. But what the benefit would be is the community where the purchase is made, there would be investments into infrastructure. And that infrastructure investments would be roads, could be, anything infrastructure related. So the cost of this for half would be, it fluctuates. So volume of home sales, price of home sales. Rutherford County is as we all know, a very dynamic real estate market. There are a lot of sales that occur. And one of the things that the home builders and realtors had mentioned is that, when you're talking about growth, new home construction is one way to look at it, but there's another part of growth, which was existing homes at sale and families move in. So this is a way to really capture revenue that's being paid anyway and putting into projects locally in those communities. So the ultimate request is for 50% of it to remain in the county where it's paid. So 50%. That's somewhere between 8 and 10 million each year on average. Again, it can fluctuate depending on volume of sales and the amount of sales. So because of the cost of the state, which is around 145 to 150 million recurring, they have to approve through their budget to lose in revenue they're getting now. We talked about phasing it in over 3 years. So the first year, the proposal was first year was 0, the second year would have been half or otherwise 25%, and the third year being the full implementation. So the way we look at it now is the first year, which will start July 1. We were not going to anticipate trying to get any revenue starting July 1. Hopefully, if the revenue is really strong, there may not be a need for a phase-in, but if there is a need for a phase-in, basically whatever it takes to do is what we'd be willing to do. Thank you.
Other questions?
Commissioner Piggyback on that, and correct me, forgive me if you said it and I missed it somehow. Is it already being divided in buckets that are what we can use it for, or is it just a lump sum to the general fund?
Thank you, Commissioner, for the question. So it's a state tax, so none of it's local. None of it, you don't have any portion or allocation or approval of the revenues now. So it goes into the state budget. Half of it goes to the general fund. The other half goes into different buckets where it's already allocated. Where those allocations are would remain unchanged.
That's what I was wondering, was what buckets are they? Like you mentioned infrastructure, and we're facing our biggest problem I'm seeing is our capital projects, the schools, the future jail, and things like that. Just wondering how we can steer what bucket, what we need.
So the good question. So the question is, I think, what are the authorized uses for the half of it that would come back to the counties? And that's where is that it would go to infrastructure locally, so roads, other projects, but specifically, it cannot go to salaries, or it cannot supplant any money that's already being used in the highway fund. So it has to be used, I mean, effectively, because it is so volatile and it changes so much, you can't use it to do any salary. So it'd be all for projects. Yeah.
Other questions? Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Brings us to the conclusion of our agenda. Under other business, let me mention that our next scheduled meeting is June 12th. And for those of you who may have missed it, we have calendared a July meeting this year, and that's scheduled for July 17th. We normally don't meet in July, but there are reasons to leave that meeting on our agenda. So if you don't have it on your calendar, put it on your calendar. July 17th, there is still a possibility and maybe even a probability that we will cancel that meeting. But there are reasons that relate to Plan Rutherford that may affect that meeting. So put it on your calendar. We can always cancel it. Let me just say that tonight we've spent a lot of money, but it's money well spent with the addition and the expansion of a high school and the addition of a brand new elementary school, plus some other decisions that were made. And I appreciate your persistence in asking questions and making sure we got all of the answers and we're making wise decisions. So thank you there. I also like to thank Commissioner Serino for my Kit Kat. It'll come in pretty handy. Thank you once again there, Commissioner. Any shout outs? Nobody have anything going on in your district?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I want to go ahead and mention to all our high school graduates this week, they've been graduating. A little over 4,500 students graduated. And let's see, I think tomorrow, Holloway High School is graduating with records 62 or 68, if memory serves me. So I just want to give them that shout out. Others?
Let me just kind of follow up here and ask our county attorney, did he graduate? Did he make it?
Yes. Her performance was wonderful. Lots of singing and hats with cows and chickens on them, and I think they did one where they did the funky chicken. So, yes, thank you, Chairman.
I suspect that kindergarten graduation just comes right after. It seems like it was just born here yesterday, but the rest of them will follow in short order, so enjoy that while you have the opportunity. Commissioner McMurry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. I would like to give a shout out to one of our own, Commissioner Oliver. I think over the weekend she received her doctorate of education, am I saying it correctly? At Rockhurst, not elementary, university, sorry. So I want to give her a round of applause. So she received her doctorate.
Congratulations, Commissioner Oliver. Anything else? Once again, within the next month before we meet again, the Budget Committee will have met and will probably have a consensus of what our budget will look like, but that committee is working exceptionally hard. Keep them in your thoughts. Also, the mayor's office has done an excellent job in conjunction with our finance department. So thank you, Michael, for all of your hard work and what you've done. Anything else? We are adjourned. Thank you.